All right. So I'm going to go into this with a character I've already built. I've already played with. He's experienced. A lot of his skills are up there. But I did give him, like, basic armor to throw me into a new game. Okay. Okay, Nemos. On to the gameplay. It's taking a second to load the world. Normally, when you start a new character, a Valkyrie will throw you into the world. I have a lot of health and stuff because I have mods on, which that probably takes away from the point, but I just want to give you an idea of how you start off. You start off with nothing. I mean, they give you a torch. I didn't bother grabbing one. That's your main attack, and then you can click your middle mouse button. A lot of different weapons have that different functionality. For instance, an axe. An axe has that functionality. Main attack, and then the other attack. Which those different attacks cause more or less damage on, for instance, cutting trees. Trees don't normally cut down that fast. I just have a mod. So that middle mouse button with the axe from the side of a log does more damage to the log over time. Trees can knock over other trees. They'll usually like slide down a tree and it'll cause more damage or something to the point of breaking the other tree. Like that. See? Just kill itself. and that's the mod. It's an easy treesy mod, so it trees become very fragile. And so the whole forest is falling out. Makes it easier to gather wood. Less damage on your stuff. When they're stuck like that, they take more damage. Trees will drop things like resin, seeds for saplings, that sort of thing. Yeah. Like a couple trees just made all these fall over. Isn't that just so satisfying? Stamina becomes pretty annoying. I can't show you that because I have a mod. But it doesn't affect my jump speed. My jump height, my run speed, all that's determined over here. So your running will get better. As you run more, jumping will become better. When you jump more, blocking, clubs, fists, axes, wood cutting, bows, all this stuff. Eventually you can get to magic, which you have to eat certain foods that give you mana. Blood magic. As far as I know, they might have added another thing, but as far as I know, there's only a couple things for that. You can summon 2 bodyguards, which actually have quite a bit of health, I've noticed. Elemental damage, you can get a fire stick. But all this stuff is affected. It is still early access, so once they release the full game, I'm gonna have to start a whole new character. But yeah. Let's see. So this is the map. That's my tiny little guy. And once you reach the edges over here, that's basically the edge of the realm. All the easy stuff stays pretty much within here, and as you expand, you reach different biomes and stuff. You can place pins on your map where your house is, or where bosses are, where you died, where someone else died, a camp. I'll usually put these ones on like berry bushes or something I just want to keep track of. That's a portal insignia. I'm gonna show you a little bit about building now. Eventually you have to fight that. Well, not fight it. You have to kill the deer so that you can offer it to the very first boss, which is right next to us. It's showing me. Every boss has an altar. I think there's 7 or 8 bosses now. You take on a boss and you unlock new areas. This is like the meadows area. That's a nice find. It's a 1-star deer. So it goes up to 2 stars on different spawns. 2-star, it can drop up to, I think, 8 times, 4 to 8 times more stuff. You can't breed deer as of yet. There's boar in here. You can domesticate boar. and as long as you provide them food and keep them away from danger, they'll breed, and that becomes a sort of food source, a source for leather scraps, that sort of thing. This is birch. This axe isn't strong enough, so that gives you fine wood. Right now I can only get normal wood. These huts randomly generate. They're in terrible condition. You can go up to them and fix them, but which I can probably show you that real quick. I need a hammer, so I need 2 stone. Stone can be found on the ground, pretty much anywhere. Once you defeat the first boss, you'll get hard antlers, which you can use to make a pickaxe. Your first pickaxe to mine up these rocks for more. Can make the hammer. And it pops up over there. You won't have all this stuff unlocked. These are all the recipes and crafting stuff as you go on. Once you pick up new materials, the game will use its system and be like, oh, they have this understood and this understood and this understood, blah, blah, blah. So it'll give you more crafting recipes based off of what you know and what resources you've been able to find, which I find kind of cool. Rain will damage your buildings. Roof blocks don't receive damage from rain. That's not a roof block. It's a roof edge block, but it's not a roof block. So that's that fixed up. It looks way better. You can do something like this. So what I like to do for a roof to avoid being smoked out, I like to add some kind of chimney function. If the tree wasn't in the way. Here we go. So that'll protect me. I'm good from rain through that hole. But now I can find more rocks. Find more rocks and make a campfire inside the building. That'll keep you warm when it turns nighttime. It'll allow you a heat source to cook food. A lot of this gathering becomes so much quicker later in the game. My goodness. Okay. So you can put a campfire down, and the campfires create smoke. That's why I wanted a chimney type deal, because now all that smoke's just gonna go out there. If it doesn't go out there, it's gonna gather up here and go out one of these windows. safety. Cool. This is a cooking station. If you can figure it out, you can stick multiple of these on here to cook a lot more food at a time. I can cram it over there. A lot of people have a problem with me cramming different textures into the wall. Like that one, it's starting to like flicker. Can drive your screen crazy. There's always a way to avoid building properly. So I want to stick that as low as I can. Because you can't place these chests on top of each other. But if you put a board, it becomes doable. And then you can access all of them. I'll want to bring that crafting table in here. Once you break it, you can't craft anything. It has to have a crafting table near or inside. Once you have one of these under a roof, you can repair your tools and whatnot. And as you can see, it's still going out. Pretty cool. That fire will keep going until it runs out of fuel. But it won't run out of fuel for a while. You can sleep, and then sometimes you have these dreams. Which don't mean anything. They're just something that's there. Day 2. I've played this game purely building a base for like 60 days before I even took on the first boss. Because when you take on 1 boss, 2 boss, 3 boss, 4 boss, you want to do it strategically, as I learned the hard way. If you take on a boss early or earlier than you probably should, then you'll run into some difficulties because different bosses give way to different biomes. So you kill the first boss, it's gonna reveal that there's a second biome, and you have to go into that biome to find the second boss, so you have to search around for it. Well, that second biome becomes pretty freaking difficult when you don't know what you're doing. But what that also brings is different raids. They happen very randomly. They can be every day to every couple days, doesn't matter. And that new area, the enemies that come from it will come to raid you. And if your base isn't ready, then you're gonna sit there and try to defend it, which it isn't that hard. You can get a bunch of wood and build these stake walls, which they're quite hefty. They can hold quite a few hits. But you want to do it strategically because there's trolls in here. big blue blonde guys. They'll usually be throwing stones, like big stones like these, which just regenerate in their hand. Or they'll be wielding a big tree. Well, the trunk of a tree. Not the trunk, the freaking body of a tree. Yeah. Oops. Ooh. So they're just heavy hitters. I've had a huge boar farm and they just come out of nowhere and swiped the wall. And boar are pretty protective, so they of course run to the wall and they all get swiped. So you have to make like a double layer so that they can't kill them. But even that's hard because the guy that throws the stones, he can hit them still over the double layer wall. So there's a lot of planning that goes into it. But in base game, without any mods, you'll run into different ores, and ores become heavy. You have a weight system over here. This is your defense for the armor you're wearing. If you take your armor off, it goes down. Your guy can be completely or basically naked. He'll start getting cold then. You have to keep your food up to keep your health up, because I had 300 something, now it's 201. Because of my mods, the food duration is boosted and the benefits are also boosted. This bone mass guy, he's probably the third boss you run into. He's weak to certain things and not weak to others. I don't want to ruin the game, otherwise I would take you to my better world. It doesn't have better buildings necessarily, but I've unlocked more and I could pique your interest more. But I think it'd be a pretty fun experience if you gave this game a shot. I think you'd even get friends involved. Wild. Don't bother me. You stop. Yeah, so those Greylings are the least of the game. They don't like fire or anything like that. Yeah. So these are the boss stones. When you kill the first boss, you'll stick its head here. Second boss will go here. That's bone mass there. This is a tall tree dude. That's gonna be the I don't know, Lord of Thunder. I don't care. This is a dragon that you have to fight on a mountain, which is freaking terrible because wolves are massing. They will chunk you away. This is another pretty difficult guy. This one's harder to find than it is to beat. And this is the last one. which they just dropped with the Ashlands update, which I have not fought yet. But yeah, brief introduction to the game. Thought I saw berries somewhere. No. Raspberries are probably the first thing they're gonna run into. His stamina's going up. Once you make things, it's pretty easy to fix them. It's just a hammer button. When you get a forge and other crafting tables, there will always be a hammer here. You just run up to it. It doesn't take any resources or anything to repair stuff. You'll have to repair tools, armor, that sort of thing. Yeah. I don't know what else to go on about without ruining lore and whatnot, which is half the game in my opinion. Took me a while to get used to the graphics and stuff, but they kind of grow on you. I don't use resource packs or anything. Yeah. Save that one. Log out. I had a server going for a little bit, but me, Zach, and Pete never really got on it. Me and Zach were grinding the heck out of it, but eventually we stopped. We wanted Pete to get on and join us, but he never did. Unfortunately. We got pretty far, but I wasn't gonna pay for another year to that server. So, they added 10 new creatures. 2 new capes, 3 new armor sets, new bombs and ammunition. That's cool. 30 plus new weapons, 5 new crafting station upgrades, 70 plus new buildable items, new food items and potions, locations, music events, new mechanics, fixed mead materials, standardized texts through the game, multiple bug fixes, blah 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 blah. Yep. Says I have 12 plugins running. They're all ease of life mods. They're not really game changing. The Easy Treasy is probably the biggest one. Stamina use is important, but I've played this long enough not to care about dealing with it. It's not really fun, especially when you're swimming. If you run out of stamina, you just die in the water. Jumping off a boat or just sitting there in water isn't necessarily a great idea. But, yep. Get the game, dude. Get the game.